Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Summit 6. We're here. The qualifiers are happening. Oh my goodness. It feels like it's been a while. We're on the Summit 5 ticket, as you guys can see over there, but that's fine. You guys know what it is. You know what it already is, and we're going to be taking a look at a wonderful game. Man, it's been a little bit of a fiasco. Not fiasco. I don't want to say fiasco. It's been a little bit of a slog getting everything going. There's people that are running around behind the scenes, trying to put together overlay packages, trying to get all these teams in and out, because there's the new news about the Boston major coming means that all of this stuff just starts to come together more quickly. And it's really cool because this also puts a lot of onus on the teams. And this is something that I don't want to talk about a ton, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams are going to adapt going forward into this. Obviously, they're still playing Dota in a lot of other regions, but this is a really big tournament, I think, for a lot of different people, and they want to try and do their very best to make it out to the LA, and I can't wait to see what ends up happening here. So CDEC facing off against EHOME. Man, oh man, we're doing it. A little bit of history. These two squads have kind of been going at it over the past what would I say, it's been maybe 2 weeks or so, and then even before then there's been a lot of like tenuous rivalry things going on. You start thinking about some of the previous big tournaments that have been going on, and of course there's MDL, which was pretty huge. We did also have the Shanghai Dota 2 Open, which was another really big tournament over in China. It was actually a LAN event, and there's like been, I don't want to say tension, but just like you can tell that a lot of the matches are mattering more when they play each other, which is part of, oh my goodness, Singularity is added me on my friends list. I don't want you to be a friend of mine. Let's get you out of there. We'll take that offline. Wonderful. Sorry about that, folks. So anyways, what I was saying is that it's just, there's been a lot of back and forth between these two teams, and I'm looking back through as well a couple of their recent games. I casted a game with Aosin where CDEC started off with a really impressive run, and they were taking, we'll keep their eyes on it now if they do end up going back for it, but a Magnus, and they were running this Magnus in the mid, ended up going for a Blink first, and in every game that we've seen from him, from Feb, which is actually Shade, it's been a Battle Fury. He's gone for Battle Fury Magnuses, which kind of just blow my mind. And of the times that they've played each other recently, looking back through the history here, the last time they played, CDEC won it 2-1. And then the previous game that they played against each other, I'm not actually seeing it here. It looks like CDEC just took the most recent one. Oh, and they're going to go back for the sniper now in response to the potential OD, I guess, or they just want to run it themselves. This is something that Shade did take previously, and it didn't feel very strong when they were running it. And I think that it was in the game against each other even. They ended up losing pretty badly. It was against Newbie, I want to say, actually. And I don't know, he went something like 2-10. It was a really bad game for them, but it's a hero that he does feel comfortable with, and if you have that comfort on a hero, you want to try and run it, of course. So I've been rambling a little bit. It's mainly just me talking about the history that these two teams have. Like I was saying, CDEC, they ran that Battle Fury Magnus. They came out to a huge lead right at the start. It was 40,000 experience, 38,000 net worth lead, and then a Sylar Morphlane. They just ran down mid after a couple of quick team wipes, and they lost the game. CDC. It was the third biggest comeback that's ever happened in the history of Dota. And so when you have a situation like that, I mean, immediately following that, I was like, Aosin, how do they come back into this? How do they make the return? And then he was like, oh, they focus on, they just lost the next game terribly. It's really bad. So there's a little bit of not bad blood, I would say, but history there. So now coming out, we'll talk a little bit about the game in particular now that we've had a chance to run through the history of the two squads. I am kind of rating CDEC ahead of EHOME just based off of past performances, and I think that they're in their head a little bit after that initial rough start that happened with the Magnus play. But that being said, I still haven't been super impressed with the sniper pick in the past out of Feb for CDEC. So I'm I'm torn here, and I do want to see where they opt to go for their carry as well. It wasn't EHOME Sky the Mage taken, so this is all very, I feel like almost an anti-mage game here could be pretty strong. There's a lot of lockdown for it too. Maybe it's not the best. But any of those types of heroes that are just like sort of strong, heavy hitters, they have a good amount of disable on EHOME. But all right, and I like this. This is a really great answer. They have a lot of disable on EHOME, but not a ton of burst damage. I feel like a lot of the damage that's going to be coming in is through the right clicks, and I think Spectre deals with that excellently. This could be a great Vanguard game for her, and I do really like that idea. So we will see how this goes as we're getting ready to move into CDEC Gaming facing off against EHOME. Cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is all the upper bracket action. Let me switch over real quickly so you guys can see what we've already had as far as games today. A little bit earlier on, we had ig.vitality lose 0-2 to LGD. Then this one was Forever Young. We're going to have the real, quote-unquote, LGD gaming playing later on, but since we're still getting together the graphics pack, this will end up looking much better. But this is what we've got right now. Vici Gaming, they ended up losing 2-0 to Invictus Gaming, and now it's EHOME versus CDC, and then a little bit later on tonight, it's going to be LGD versus Newbie. So all good things. Oh my goodness, why did that pop up there? All good things coming out as we get ready to hop into this game number 1. Early movements out to place down a couple of wards. Does look like Sept is trying to scout out anybody moving in this direction. Decides to place it over there on that side. No great problem. Does block out the pole camp as well. And it looks like they might be able to... They're not going to spot this smoke. So that's something going in their favor of EHOME. CDEC, they might feel safe in this way. And we'll have to see if they back out. They haven't shown anywhere else on the map, and the pings do come. This is pinging out by, I believe, the Rubik. Does not look like they're going to pass them as of yet. They did place this ward right here as well, blocking off the pole camp, so there's not going to be a whole heck of a lot of creeps spawning. And we'll see. I mean, any of these early movements out this direction, Spectre might end up going down if not careful. Old 11 does spot them out, and that was just about as good as it could have gone. That could have been so much worse. Man, you take a look at that, and the vision she must have had to only spot out the Sand King. They realize where the entire side of EHOME is, a big old X, or rather circle drawn over there, and now they're going to back out. So good stuff all around. Siler going to trade a couple of right clicks onto June, and looks like we'll head off on our way. This game number 1, as we have the pause that comes right at the beginning. So this is good. I wanted to talk a little bit more about... Okay, nope, not going to do it. I want to talk a little bit, though, about just the way that I see this game going. I think Sniper is kind of an interesting answer to the Drow Ranger. Along with the Spectre, because now you're sort of just trying to respond to the early aggression as we see First Blood. Oh my goodness, excuse me, sorry about that one. June, the Slardar, trying to drag the creep wave through and is not going to be able to do it. Instead, ends up paying the price. An early kill. All right, we're getting a little bit of lag, so I'm going to try and do a quick little reconnect, so please excuse me while I wait, and this will give me a little bit more time just to talk about what's going on. All right. Occasionally, we do end up with these little mini lag spikes, and it should be good. All right. We'll load it back in. Okay. Top lane, Old 11. Oh, you might end up paying for this one. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, looks like it might just be one of those games. So we'll try our best to keep up with everything, but there might be some issues as far as allowing for this stuff to go through. So what I was talking about earlier, I'm really curious to see how this sort of this goes. Is that actually going to stack? Wow, nice timing right there. That one's a little bit of a harder one to actually make stack if you pull it straight this direction because of the long spawn box over on this side. All right, I feel all kerfuffled, but it's going to be fine. Old Chicken starting off on his Mirana. It's interesting because we have seen the Mirana getting played fairly consistently. It's fallen off to the point where it's no longer still a first pick, but it can be taken in the early stages. And that's why I was a little bit surprised to see EHOME take it. We're waiting for us to get started. All right. Feb, Old Chicken, mid lane. It'll be interesting to watch. Sorry, I'm very distracted trying to make sure that the stream settings are looking all good. There's a couple of issues going on, and we'll get it all sorted out shortly. Early days still. Oh man, Old Chicken needs to be careful here in this mid lane. He could take a lot of damage if he's not careful. This is what's so frustrating to play against with snipers, especially once you get into that like level 6 range. You get headshot up and online. We saw that a lot in WESG, Imperial lineup, as we see Old 11 chasing down. And it looks like they're going to be able to pull him back. This should be a kill here. Well, the turnaround. They have the stomp, but not really going to be able to get into range to make it happen. They catch on to Old Lanham, but with the Spirit already out, they don't find 11. So the big thing that I was talking about there, as far as like how I see this match going forward, there is a lot of the initial like early magical damage that you get from EHOME. You've got Burrow Strike as well as Epicenter. You've got Skywrath Mage Ultimate, which is going to be able to do a nice little bit as well. Mystic Flare, lay down on top of somebody. What I'm not seeing is something like a Lifestealer to deal with this Spectre. A hero that's, you know, just in there in that anti-tank type of scenario. Like, I'm seeing a lot of heroes that can punish a hero like a Drow Ranger, or punish a hero, since I'm just using her as an example. Like, if you think about a rotation that comes in onto the Drow Ranger in the early stages, you have a Sand King and a Skywrath Mage. That's enough to find the kill. If Spectre gets a Vanguard up and online, then I don't really think that those two heroes would be able to kill her off in the same type of way. And I think it's just this type of game, if you build tanky for November, once you get through that phase where the initial burst damage is doing a lot, a simple cloak or a simple pipe or anything else like that is going to be able to mitigate enough damage that I don't think November dies in these fights. And that's really the big thing that I would say about these lineups, is we see the rotation come in. Sep maybe in a little bit of trouble, but can they keep him back? No, the Fade Bolt is going to be there for the kill. Oh, you know what? There we go. I think we've solved the problems now. All right. All right. Oh my goodness. Thank God. That was taking me a long time to figure out what the problems were. So we should have a good amount of sound now. Oh, I really apologize. Again, sorting out all of these issues on the fly while also trying to do commentary is very difficult, but I think that we've got most of it sorted. That should be a lot better now. So we see a kill up in the top lane again. Again, very much apologize This is not indicative at all as Drow Ranger finds another one of hopefully what this commentary is going to be like as we go further forward, and we'll be able to make this a little bit better for you guys. So thank you for bearing with me. I realize this did not go the way that I wanted it to go either, but it's going to be fine. We'll get there in the end. Lordy, lordy. That was an odyssey. I've got to say it. Man, oh man. Okay. All right, we've made our way through the first little set of problems. Let's talk about CS a bit. Drow Ranger up on top. Spectre's been able to get a nice little bit herself. And meanwhile, the Sniper versus Mirana matchup, kind of what we would be expecting. Old Chicken being punished fairly heavily. This Invis rune might be enough to turn the tide back into her favor, though. Feb is fairly low, and if she's able to just walk up and get a nice arrow, this could definitely be a kill. Instead, goes for the straight Starstorm. Maybe a little bit greedy to leap forward, and Fairy Fire trying to stay alive. Not going to be enough. Mirana gets him. Nicely placed. Nicely played. The smoke rotation from Guardian and Old Lanham. Maybe going to be able to find something here. They pinged out or placed a ward. Was that spotted? That was an interesting ping. It looks like they're looking for October, but sort of realizing that something like this could be happening. He's hiding way off to the side there, and I don't know how they realized that that smoke rotation was coming. Okay. So 5-2 so far is the score. We've gotten ourselves a Sand King who's fairly fat in this offlane. You compare that to the Slardar, who's been pretty heavily hampered. Has to go for the Iron Talon now. Man, these rotations in, I don't know, really just great reactions so far from the side of the Dire, realizing what the problems are and where these movements could come to, and they're just backing out. They are not going to get caught out by this. We have June, who's now going to have to face off against Old 11, so this matchup does not become any easier for the Slardar, but if they can possibly find a turnaround here, they might be able to get a kill. And November moving in as well. They've got the Desolate damage. The Stomp comes through. Well, a nice Burrow Strike away, and maybe going to be able to take down June as well. They pop the Haunt looking for the kill. They are going to be able to find it with Spectin. They end up losing the Slardar in exchange. So a little bit not as clean as they might have wanted, as November's going to try and head out of there as well. And it looks like Sylar might be able to find him. Spectre in some trouble. Tries to turn man up. It's not going to be enough, though. November's going to go down. Really unfortunate. Now a killing spree for this Drow Ranger. A great start indeed. 5,000 gold net worth currently.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And now, moving back in, they do throw out the Silence. It's just going to be able to TP away. Oh, the Silence TP, they couldn't break it. That is a really nice combination right there, having already used the Glimpse and really long setups on both Headshot, or rather Assassinate, as well as Echo Stomp. They find the counterplay. Great, great, great stuff there. Man. And it's not often that you see a Drow Ranger get this much early on. Having already taken the top tier 1 tower, as well as just great amount of CS throughout the early stages, Sylar is poised to have a wonderful game. Meantime, Old Chicken pops the ulti. No bottle charges, no ability to cast spells. They're just going to have to rely upon this initiation. The right clicks are there. They get the silence onto Sept. That's going to end up being a kill. Had enough for the leap, and that's all you need. Man, they are punishing this heavily. It's still great high ground defense for CDEC, which is something that we got to keep in mind here, is even if they fall behind pretty far, if they can get a couple of towers down, if they can start to get a little modicum of farm on this Spectre, they should be kind of okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, and now Lanham might be punished for this one. Did go for that early Urn build, and allows him to be slightly more survivable in lane. They find that kill. Sylar's coming in, though. Big bad Drow Ranger. Tober so low, trying to tango away. It was never going to happen, though. Does create enough space for November, who has the TP out if they want to go for it. They could also just stick around here as well with the full mana pool. Spectre could hang and
is under attack.
keep it safe.
Dire's
This is the other
bottom
part about
tower
it that's
has
pretty nice for the spec, is having these infused raindrops should help keep her alive more so than previous. What happened to the TP? Did she drop her TP? Oh, regardless, it doesn't matter. Gonna go for the haunt, but a little bit too late. The Burrow Strike turnaround, able to make that happen. I heard an item drop, and a TP is no longer in her stash. That was very strange. Meanwhile, bottom lane looking for a wraparound. Feb runs into the Skywrath Mage, misses the Mystic Flare. What was that? Guardian not at all doing the correct thing, and he is going to end up going down to the sniper, but meanwhile, Sylar walks back in and finds the kill. Drow Ranger dominating streak. And they're just bullying CDEC. This is, again, what the side of EHOME are supposed to be doing. So we're going to need EHOME to continue this level of play. It's still a problem where if they start to become lackadaisical and no longer assert this dominance, basically, we could start it swing very heavily back into the favor of CDEC. Just the natural kit of Spectre does so well against the Drow. All right, we're going to try one more reconnect. I've explained this on multiple occasions, but if the lag is really bad, there's just nothing that you can do because of the problems. And it only happens like 1 out of, I would say, every 4 games maybe, where the servers just become so unstable that you actually can't do anything with it. All right. See if I can get this going. Okay, this is not good. Never fear, Dota 2 will be here. All right, we're back. Well, looking like they're going to go for initiation play onto June. A lot of damage dealt out. The Static Storm's already been thrown as well. Turnaround, though, a pretty nice Earth Splitter, deals a decent chunk of damage, and Assassinate flies as well. Is going to be able to bring everybody fairly low. The Sand King and Old Chicken does find that kill on November. Yeah, Old 11 was going to go back in for the Burrow Strike now, and this is really bad. You're not finding almost any kills onto EHOME, and you lose your Spectre in that fight. They do finally take down the Sand King with the Thunder Strike damage, but nonetheless, it would have been okay had Spectre somehow been able to survive that, but it's not looking like it. And it's really why I think that maybe a Vanguard build might have been the way to go for Spec. Like, you want to be able to be aggressive, sure, but you also need that extra survivability, particularly against this lineup that, I mean, raindrops will keep you a little bit more tanky, but you also need the right click survivability because of the Drow Ranger aura. It starts to become a significant threat. Again, I apologize for the lag, but there is a certain point where just the servers that operate the Great Firewall in China do not really, can't be fixed by a simple reconnect anymore. Right, well, Old 11 has built into his Blink Dagger now. You've got Drow Ranger, who is incredibly farmed. The Shadowblade initiations can start to become a big problem, and Old 11 suddenly runs into everybody. A bit of bad luck there, and that is great. Slaughter is the one that found the kill, but that is a huge win for CDEC. Like, that type of a pickoff with everybody around. He just blinked into them randomly. Oh my goodness.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, nonetheless, movement in, Lanham, he has an urn as well. Got Guardian with a Veil already. All of the tier 1 tower is gone. Old Chicken trying to find June with the arrow, but wasn't going to be there. And this is kind of what you need to do with this lineup, is just go for big smoke rotations and then have November able to go in for the Haunt initiation afterwards. And now they find the Skywrath Mage. This is going to be pretty big for them if they can get the kill. And there's the Haunt in. September taking a good bit of damage, but they're going to be able to kill off Guardian. And now looking for Lanham to jump in afterwards. Might have bit off more than they can chew now. And Sylar's there as well. He went too aggressive. They end up paying the price. They get a double kill with September, but again, they lose the Spectre. And this is just, it's not a trade that I don't think that they can really make. Feb is going to get off the Assassinate. That is huge. 900 gold, a really great stomp initiation and turnaround with Sep. You also keep that natural aura on the Drow so that way you get more damage with the Assassinate. Great stuff. So what could have been a lot worse turns around in a big way. It still is not ideal because you're losing gold on this Spectre, but it could have been worse. And now you're getting some semblance of a farm on the Sniper, which is going to allow them to hold high ground longer. And November obviously wants to get into that Radiance, but I do wonder if possibly a Vanguard might allow him to stay alive longer. This game is going to go on for a while. I don't really see EHOME being able to... Well, maybe that's the reason then. If EHOME aren't able to break high ground, then you can afford to play more greedy on Spectre. There's pros and cons to both of it. Well. Meanwhile, it's time to move in for Roshan. Old 11. Very aggressive as well with his farming we saw earlier. It paid off for him for getting the Blink and the Force Staff, but he ended up getting punished in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, June does have the Blink Dagger. I think that EHOME are very happy with where they're at. Unless we see some type of turnaround from CDEC, this is going to become a real problem for CDEC. You can see what their lineup is trying to do, but I don't know if they're quite going to have the items up and online to really make a strong defense at that high ground. Umber just trying desperately to farm up whatever he can. We'll have Haunt again. You need to be able to play a little bit more kill steely potentially on the Spectre, and it looks like they want to try and take this fight. This is really scary. Old 11 is hiding out here, but if they spot him in the trees, if October is able to find him with the Static Storm at the start of this, it would be absolutely huge. Might realize that he's in there, but there's the blink out, and now October revealed. That might have been their moment for initiation, and unfortunately, they might have missed it. 6 seconds before Kinetic Field, dodges the arrow. Spectre still can haunt for vision if they want to go that route. And everything a little bit clunky here for CDEC. Now you're trying to defend this, and, well, Sylar is going to get slept. That also is a little bit opportune, but they're not going to try and go for the play. Too dangerous to fight around that tier 2 tower once it's gone. Meanwhile, Vember farming to the best of his ability. Man, and this is pretty indicative of how dire the straits are right now. You got the Slardar coming in to help the Spectre farm quicker, and they're just putting all their hopes on that Radiance. If they can get a relic now, it's maybe a way that you get back into this, but man, it's a long road. All right, gonna TP back. Oh, I think that they were trying to go for a counterplay there, where they bring in the June Crush and then afterwards Haunt. As it stands, though, now you've got the whole side of EHOME that are grouped up and ready to go. Hastering on Old Chicken. If he finds somebody and they're able to get a kill, it doesn't look like they're gonna find anybody by the tier 2, though. Everywhere Spectre goes, you've got to. It's bring a partner plan. That's what they've got. Oh, man. All right. Mirana ulti comes out. You have the ET Aura just scouting things, trying to get some amount of vision. Old 11 is just outside of that sentry ward, but he is being revealed by the tower, so they probably spotted him there, and if he's not careful, might end up getting punished. Do they go for the crush? Not going to do it. This ward paying dividends. They've also got one from the Radiant, though. And now the Haunt, counterplay, in some trouble. Oh, able to haunt away. November survives. Really great play there, but now the Rubik going for the counter haunt as a Fade Bolt available, kills off the Spectre. All big plays from Lanham. What a good reaction there. I mean, it was really good from November as well, but now CDEC in a lot of trouble. Slardar getting counter-initiated upon is going to die to that sniper, and now Old 11 looking for the Bro Strike, not finding it. Drow Ranger Aegis already gone. Do they find a kill onto June? The Veil was there as well as the double Starstorm, and Feb got hit by the arrow. Oh no, he's going down. Really, really unfortunate play there, but man, oh man. Lanham with the Haunt Steal counter-initiation. Quick thinking and making the plays, and that just cripples Spectre.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Was so close to completing the relic. Now has to wait, you know, all of this time off the map as well, and there's not a great place to farm. Like, this is really the issue, is that you hang out down there in the bottom lane. There's the initiation that comes with just the Sand King, and pretty much anywhere else on the map, people can kill you if you're not careful. Now Mirana has a Blink Dagger on top of the Aghanim Scepter. This is huge. And oh man, November, you could be in trouble. They've got the Axe Initiation going down. Oh, you need those raindrops. And now, not as tanky as you would want to be. Old 11 is going to find June now, and potentially completing total disaster. They are going to be able to find this kill again, so it's gold going back towards CDEC, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if it's going to be enough. Spec is just so underfarmed at this point in the game. Again, you have to question about even just one more tanky item for the Spec, if it would have made the difference. I'm not sure if it would have. It certainly would have against that Rubik counterplay with the Haunt, but then you're also slowing your Radiance timing, so I can understand the decision, but whatever the case is, this certainly isn't working. And maybe it's just the way that the game is being played, but
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
also maybe I'll eat my words. Maybe they'll turn it back around. High ground defense is still a problem. And they were able to bring down the Aegis of the Drow, so more time.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You can just see how afraid November is to show anywhere on the map. Their vision is incredibly limited. They could be on top of them right now and have no idea.
Is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
And just not comfortable. Not comfortable farming anywhere. Did that scan reveal anybody? No, it didn't look like it did. You just can't do that farming. They are going to reveal themselves down bottom, and immediately November feels comfortable going out and farming. Getting some more creeps, but oh, this is a hard life. Hard life to be a Spectre right now, but meanwhile, they're going to move back in. Moonlight Shadow, Burrow Strike on to 3. Oh, lordy, they've got the epicenter as well. The counterplay is there with the Static Storm, but I don't think it was ever going to be enough. Old Chicken jumps forward as well. November just has to run away. Oh, God, the humanity. November goes down. June trying to make anything at all happen, but 4 dead. And, oh... You can't just, I mean, oh, any small moment, like, it's hard to say you can't stand together as 3, but against a Mirana lineup, you can't stand together as 3 with a Sand King in the game. It just doesn't work. Oh, Assassinate, that's going to be a kill. Totally get him. Glimmer Cape or not. And they are, this is what we were talking about. This is that high ground defense, and Sylar actually is going to go down. Feb is going to pay for it as Old Chicken jumps in, but they take down Sylar again. Sniper getting it. They somehow managed to hold after the worst pick-off team fight thing ever. Oh, God. And it's just this... They just need that item for November. You desperately need it. So close to picking it up. And the problem is that he still needs another 1,400 gold basically on top of this. finish off that Radiance. It's a hard life for this spec. That little combination and being able to take that fight is really good, but I don't know. You just need so many different things on these heroes. Well, the other problem that I'm seeing with this is even if they do manage to get that Radiance online in the next little bit, like, it's not like that's going to solve the problem of Spectre getting killed in these fights. I think the Spectre pick makes a lot of sense given the way that CDEC wanted to play this game. But with Sand King getting so much... Did he just assassinate a creep? with how much Sand King got out of that off lane, it wasn't going to work. And I'm talking like the game is over. It's far from over. It's a Spectre lineup with a sniper holding high ground and an ET. You've got Disruptor there to punish if they get over aggressive. Like, there's a lot of things that can go good in this lineup given the time, and they will have that time at least for a little while longer, at least until that next Aegis and Roche comes up. And if they fight around the next Roshan, like right now, if I'm EHOME, I think you need to go and take down Roshan immediately. Like, don't waste any time. CDEC don't really want to contest, I don't think, at this point. Until, like, they might show up, actually, since ET's still alive. And like, if they would have gone maybe a minute earlier, then they don't contest. Now, I think they do. And now, you might be in some trouble with the Radiance up. Looks like they're ready to make their move. Oh, old 11. Pump fakes. Looking for it. Wants to get the kill. Isn't going to find it. Smoke breaks are not a whole lot. And they are going to deward the sentry, but they don't spot the observer ward that spotted them. They might realize now that there was a ward there. We'll see. They're scanning the Roche pit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And now they do spot that. They might have caught a hint of that right at the end.
An easy shot.
They're taking down Roche. Nobody from CDEC is moving over into this side. You have to go and contest this.
Soldier's fortune.
I think they're just too worried about... I mean, do they have another smoke? They don't have another smoke for a minute. Oh, yeah, you can't actually. Oh, that hurts for CDEC. It's really hard to go in for contesting Roshan without a smoke, because if they counterplay you with a Mirana ulti or, you know, just even a Burrow Strike Epicenter, you're done. So CDEC plan for the long term. They're gonna need to wait out this Aegis. And there are ways for that to happen, starting with picking off old 11. 11, what are you doing here? That is not the place to be, and they pop the BKB meanwhile on Old Chicken, trying to get a counterplay here. I don't know if this is the smart move, though, and oh, November, a little bit of a misplay, is going to try and go for the TP now. They have the arrow to break it, and Mirana gets the kill. I just had the damage to break it, actually. They spot out that June is there, blinks over to the side, and they aren't going to be able to catch him. Arrow very close, but not on time. And Drow Ranger has an Axe, too. Man, Sylar is not messing around. All right, with BKBs online now also, and I mean... Spectre is dead. Feb is going to try and hold high ground to the best of his abilities. Does a decent clip of damage, and, well, meanwhile, turn it back around. Doesn't the damage to Sylar. They find the kill again. Yo, Feb is on another level right now. They're making this work for themselves. They catch another Earth Splitter onto Sylar and looking for another stomp. A good silence comes out, though, and June is not going to be able to get caught. So, just like that, ET actually takes down the Rubik as well? How did he die there? Nonetheless, it doesn't matter. CDEC hold their high ground. Back, back, back. All right, come on, spectator. Get your shiz together. I don't want to see that chat. Well, nonetheless, old 11 getting picked off in that bottom lane. I mean, and also Sylar just playing a little bit too aggressive. You can't be so cavalier against the sniper. We haven't seen Sniper in a while, obviously. He's made a new recent addition, but is Old Chicken really going to go for another play like this? This is so greedy if they try and make this play with nobody else. The rest of the side of CDEC is behind him. He's going to instead just throw out an arrow, and it's going to be for farming. So, all right. All right. But right now, I don't understand. How do EHOME not have a gem, or what's been the play that they've been going for? I don't know. I feel like at this point, if you're EHOME and you were able to dominate the map that early on, you have to gain some type of map control through picking up a gem or something else like that. And now they're allowing CDEC to get back into this game.
Illusion.
And soon, you're going to start putting yourselves in a position where you can potentially... you're not going to... Scareth Mage has Guardian Greaves. Scareth Mage almost has the same net worth as the Spectre. Look, I'm saying that this is going better for CDEC, but no mistake, EHOME is firmly in the lead. 15,000 net worth and 15,000 experience. The problem is it's not clean. It's like very not clean. You pick off 2 Aegises. Old 11 getting picked off randomly in the jungle. They feel like they're too strong, and really they're not. Arrows are not going to connect. Oh, that was in the right vicinity, but nonetheless, CDEC playing keep away. And I think that the pickoff on Drow, it was a mixture of like the damage that Feb has naturally, but also the Silver Edge proc. Like 225 bonus damage is nothing to mess around with, and Drow is going for this, you know, Ags Mjolnir build, which, while it is somewhat strong, you lack a bit of the survivability that you might have otherwise. Well, this is definitely the lineup where CDEC could take this late, and it's their only hope at winning. By far. Now you pick up the Vanguard? What? How is that a thing? Okay, alright. I don't think that there's any world where if you get a Radiance before the Vanguard, your timing comes out earlier. I mean, okay, if you're stomping, then yes. If you're getting hurt that badly, come on, November. Oh. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. They're ready to party now. I mean, he needs it. That's the thing, is he recognizes that he needs it. So I guess it's just he was so caught up in the idea of making this happen, but now Sylar potentially going to get jumped upon. They've got the Haunt counterplay as well as the Silver Edge proc. He's going down. They find that kill, and maybe you're going to be able to find more if they're not careful on the side of EHOME. They're content with just that one kill, at least for now. November jumps back in as well. The Mirana ulti is about to wear off. They can still fight this if they want. Ward was dropped also. Old Chicken spotted. They lift him up. The counterplay is going to be there. A good burrow strike through. The arrows down as well. A ton of damage from the Mirana, and they're just going to eliminate him. That's still a lot going back into the way of CDEC, and Spectre is alive through this fight, which is not something that's happened previously. On top of Guardian finds that kill, and now Old Chicken dropping low. They are going to be able to bring down the Sniper and that Slardar, but on the other side, November is just clean house. Old Chicken does finally find that kill, is going to potentially pay for it though, manning up against October. Oh, he's alive on 56 HP. Find the kill. There it is. September comes in the clutch. Nicely played, and picks up the gem to boot. Mirana, super mad, super pissed. Oh, September buyout. Run away, little ET. He's not going to get away. An ultra kill with the buyback from Old Chicken. That's totally worth. That's totally worth. Why didn't we get to see that whole fight recap? All right. Well, nonetheless, that was a series of strange decisions, but CDEC, they're fighting. you can't fault them for not doing that. They are going to take a good bit of damage to this tower. Man, Old Chicken actually might be able to burn this up. They have 4 seconds left before Slardar is back up and online, and the tower's starting to go down. They really don't want to buy back here if they don't have to, but likewise, if Old Chicken sticks around too long, they are going to be here with October, and now throws out the Glimmer Cape. They've got the Static Storm onto 2, popping BKB for Old Chicken, but June hops back in, able to bring down the Sand King, and now November looking for Old Chicken, blinks away. Good reaction there. Now looking for some more. Sylar's there in front with the kill onto the sniper, so they lose 2, and suddenly the team fight 1. They have to buy back on heroes because they're going to lose barracks. Old Chicken leaps away. There's the crush onto Sylar, maybe overstepping their bounds. Haunt's there as well. They've got the damage. June dropping low is going to die, but Sylar will as well. And now November pissed off, going to start to chase. They have the ant damage onto her, stolen from the Slardar, but it's not going to be enough. A double, and potentially going to be a part of the 3rd, as November stands tall. And only 1 barracks down. A whole hell of a lot of gold into CDEC, though. All right. Oh, November's build, it's coming back to bite me in the butt that it's working, but I don't know. September is very deep. So this game is, to me, proving a couple of things. First of all, CDEC coming out of the SDO Shanghai Dota 2 Open, they felt like the 2nd best team in China consistently, and obviously I don't think that that has necessarily changed, as we see the Ags picked up now for the Sand King, and Old Chicken looking for October might be able to find it. EHOME is threatening that is not necessarily so set in stone, but also that EHOME are not like the cleanest in the world. And oh, they've got vision. Marana walks into it. They spot her out. There's the jump forward and the Burrow Strike. All right, no Static Storm was dropped, but they did have the Kinetic Field, and pops BKB for that. That might be a little bit too much. They're going to hit Old Lanham as well with an Assassinate, just getting that extra bit of vision. See, I don't think it's so set in stone anymore. Is she going for an AC? Huh. It makes sense, sort of. Like, I kind of like it, specifically against the amp damage and the, more importantly, ET aura. Like, that's something that they are going to have to contend with, and an AC is a good way to get it, but...
Perfect.
Oh, wait, October, yeah, he's going down. No way to stop that one, but the counterplay from June is there. All right, Haunt comes out as well, and now they've got a stomp from September, gonna hit onto several. November, still Silence, in some trouble, dropping low. He might go down himself, and now the right clicks are there. He didn't stand a chance. And now, with Feb in the middle of everybody, pops his Manta Style, but is gonna get gusted afterwards, and they pop the dust as well. The counterplay from June, what are you doing, dude? That's not where you need to be, and he's gonna drop as well.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
September will TP out of there, make himself out, but I don't know. That was another very strange team fight. Like, and this is the problem, is that if EHOME just win these engagements, now with the Drow Ranger lineup, you can just take these barracks. There's like very little that you can do to stop this. They have a buyback on the Spectre, but if you're using a buyback at this point, and now gonna die for September. Oh, the Axe from Old 11, they realize that end could be in sight. They're gonna TP in with the Slaughter, has to blink back afterwards. A little bit of an odd situation. They don't want to buy back the Spec if at all possible, and meanwhile, Guardian has the amp damage on him as well. They drop the Static Storm, but Guardian is gonna get glimpsed back up to the high ground, so Static Storm doing very little. Pops the Guardians as well, now turns to man up against June. They have another stomp available if they want to go for it, but Sylar is there and has BKB back up again. It's only one barracks down for CDEC, but EHOME are threatening in a strong way, and Drow is just so farmed. Like, the fact that she can have this AC is pretty terrifying to me, but it's down to 7-second BKB charges. I don't know. All of the supports are really farmed too. You start thinking about normally what you get out of a Spectre draft, and you have the ability to kill off supports. You're not going to be able to do that in this game. Skywrath Mage has 1200 HP, Guardian Greaves, and now a Hood of Defiance. Not to mention when he's around the Rubik, he's getting that bonus no field passive as well. So let's take a look at what his magical resistance is actually at. 59% when he's around the Rubik. That's so absurd. And you know what? Lanham, having stolen Haunt, he can give that magical resistance to his entire team as soon as Spectre pops Haunt, and it'll be throughout the whole duration. So even if old Lanham is not with his team, this is like, Lanham is going to potentially win them the game with just his passive. Like, because you would normally rely upon that magical damage, as Mirana misses the arrow onto Roche to survive, but I guess the other big item after going for the Vanguard is Heart. So Spectre trying to bulk up against this, and now it's going to be hard to bring her down too. So maybe it's not the biggest deal in the world. Yeah, they immediately both pop their Haunts. Actually, it's the Rubik that haunts his just to get some extra vision there. We'll see how this game continues to unfold. Aegis on Mirana? I don't know if I love it. I'm not gonna lie. She can go in for the kill, but what you really need is those tower hitters to be there, and I guess she can be that, but it's not nearly as strong as Sylar. It does kill off the creep wave very rapidly. Assassinate. Just messing with them. I really like that play too, sending out the ET Aura with it first, so that way you can get the bonus damage from Natural Order. Gonna do it again because Assassinate is a silly spell. Man, this high ground defense is dirty. You just do this over and over again. Have Feb right-click the creep waves, you send out September the Astral Spirit, and then you just assassinate somebody. You force them to burn through their regen. And they can't do this. Like, with an Aegis, they can't siege high ground.
Under attack.
They're forced to fight them outside of their base, which means CDEC can just hang out, wait for smoke ganks, and play it cool. Eventually, you're going to have the damage from EHOME, but...
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Illusion.
Well, let's see. Again, I want to apologize for any issues that are going on with either the lag in game, which I'm obviously experiencing as well, or the microphone in game as the pipe gets completed for the Skywrath Mage. The problem is that when my voice is processed through the Dota 2 servers, it also experiences lag both coming and going, so it's really messed up. Counter initiation play onto Lanham, and that one is going to be an easy kill for them. Nicely played. Sniper is the one that picks it up. And he is now starting to get into scary territory as well. Meanwhile, Old Chicken gonna take one of those Spectral Daggers. November is not easy to kill off anymore, and meanwhile, there's the Haunt that comes out. Old Chicken taking some damage. Sylar pops BKB, immediate onto September, but with the Glimmer Cape, he'll stay alive. On the back lines, though, Ol 11 tried to kick off the rest of the side of CDEC, but wasn't able to do it. June now also gets E-bladed, so he'll stay alive a little bit longer. They throw out a Mystic Flare. Does manage to bring down the Disruptor, but I'm not sure if it's enough. They've lost the Sniper now for CDEC, as well as the Disruptor, and they've only taken out Ol 11. Meanwhile, no, November, oh, Sylar, he's so low, 14 HP. It would have been enough. And actually, November's trying to find the kill. Can he get the chase off? The Earth Splitter goes through as well, and they're gonna be able to do a decent chunk of damage to the Mirana. Burns through the Aegis. Old Lanham now taking the damage over time from the Radiance. Is gonna continue the chase forward. Man, Old Lanham is playing this really well. Took the Spectral Dagger so he could chase down the Spec, and they find the kill because of it. So Drow gets away on 14 HP. And that pipe coming in handy. The extra bonus magical resistance from Rubik. These little things piling up, and it ends up working out into their favor. Spec has to buy back now. Down to nothing in the coffers for money. But that does force EHOME back, at least for the moment. Well, nonetheless, June, Blink Force. We've got November, who's... While he does not have a whole heck of a lot of gold in the bank, this is what I was talking about. You get to this point in the game where the magical nuke damage isn't as significant anymore for him. He can just tank up and survive through the problems that come at his way. And because of that, you need the long extended team fights with the Drow Ranger aura working. If Drow doesn't live there and she doesn't give the aura to Old Chicken, I think Spec stays alive. And the Vanguard is good for helping to stay alive, but it's still not quite enough. An arrow, fishing, but not finding. June, Blink Force. We've got Sheep Stick on the ET. This could be scary. Old Chicken throwing out the Starstorms and taking a Assassinate to the dome as well. Arrow goes again. Not going to connect on anybody. Again, just fishing. Do they have the vision here? They spot that Old Chicken's in the area. He's going to jump forward, just burn through September, but is not going to go down, and now maybe a little bit of an overextension is going to get sheeped as well, and they glimpse back the Marana. Oh, that was not the play. Disruptor. Oh, goodness gracious. And now November taking a good bit of damage as well. Sylar is hitting like a truck. They pop the BKB for the Drow, and that play right there potentially could have lost CDEC the game. They glimpsed the Marana out of harm's way when she was already sheep sticked up, and now with the Guardian Greaves popped, EHOME is inside their base. They're going to be going, are you really going to epicenter into their fountain? All right, Disruptor's gone. Feb is also soon to fall, and I don't think they can stop this. November not nearly taking enough to deal with all of this damage being leveled against him. Sylar with a double kill, and GG gets called. CDEC losing game number 1. And I thought that this was a point where we were just banning Drow. We weren't seeing her played anymore. Regardless, we're going to be back in just a few with game number 2. Again, I really want to apologize. Occasionally these things happen. This little clip up here at the top is the loss tab, and unfortunately that's what happens when you try and connect through a server that's outside of China. On occasion. It doesn't happen every time. You occasionally get really, really good ones, and the game is smooth and clean, so cross your fingers that that's going to be the case for the next game. I hope that you guys were still able to find some type of enjoyment out of the broadcast. I'll keep you in the loop as to what's going to be happening and when we'll be starting, but it should be immediately following this game. Stick around, everybody. More great Dota 2 action to come.